Hello everyone, myself MS Savani and I'm making this video for Khan Academy Indian Talent Search. Now today in this video we will look at the most fascinating and at the same time highly intricate tissue structure called bones. Now more specifically the internal structure of the bone, or to be very scientifically, the histology of the bone. Let's start with the internal structure of the bone or the microscopic structure of the bone. Now here you can see that I have taken the longitudinal section of the long bone. Now any long bone has a distinct regions. Now the ends of the long bones are called epiphyses. The above one is called the proximal epiphysis and the below one is the distal epiphysis. Now the central part of the bone or the shaft of the bone is called diaphysis. Now the region that connects the diaphysis with the epiphysis is called metaphysis. Now at the interior of the bone, in the interior of the long bone is the hollow cavity called the medullary cavity or a marrow cavity. Now it fills with bone marrow. Now enclosing this marrow cavity there are two major bone tissues. The outer one is the compact bone or the cortical bone, and the inner one is the spongy bone or the trabecular bone, also called the cancellous bone. Now the entire bone except this articulating surface of the bone, this and this, the whole bone is wrapped or enclosed or surrounded by a sheath or a membrane called periosteum. Now bone consists of three things: bone cells, protein and mineral. Now this protein and mineral will form the bony matrix. Now matrix is the extracellular substance or extracellular material that is present outside the cells. Now this protein will form the organic part of the bony matrix and the mineral will form the inorganic part of the bony matrix. Now organic part of the bony matrix is also called osteoid, and the abundant protein in the organic part of the matrix or the osteoid, abundant protein is the collagen, and the inorganic part of the bony matrix, that the mineral, the abundant mineral or the dominating mineral is the hydroxyapatite. It's nothing but the calcium and phosphate salt. Now there are four types of bone cells that you will found in the bone tissue. Number one, osteoprogenitor or osteogenic. The second one is osteoblast, and the third one is osteocyte, and the fourth is osteoclast. Now this osteoprogenitor cell or the osteogenic cells are the undifferentiated mesenchymal stem cells which will differentiate into osteoblasts, and this osteoblast are the one which produce, let me write this, osteoblast are the one which produce osteoid, the organic part of the bony matrix. Now once this osteoid get trapped in its matrix, it will be called osteocytes. Now osteoblasts are the bone forming cell as they form the osteoid, and the osteocytes are the bone maintaining cell, bone maintaining cell. Now osteoclasts carry out the resorption or the breakdown of the bone, breakdown of the bone. Now let's take a cross section of this long bone, and this is how it will appear. Now when we zoom this region of compact bone and spongy bone, now this is how it will appear. Now you can see that, now you can see here this outer bone called the compact bone or the corticular bone, and this interior one, you can see this, it projects into the 3D lattice work structures called the trabeculae, and this is the spongy bone. Now here you can see this, can you see this, spherical oval shaped cellular structure. These are the osteocytes. Now these are the, now basically this is the compact bone. Now this is whole is compact bone, this is the spongy bone. Now this compact bone, microscopically you can see this, this are the cylindrical unit, which are the functional unit which lie along the long axis of the bone. Now these are called the Haversian system or the osteons. Now when you pull one of this out, now this is how it will appear. Now this is the osteon or the Haversian system or the Haversian system. At the center of this osteon there is a hollow cavity which is called the central Haversian canal. Now enclosing this central Haversian canals, you can see, now this is the central Haversian canal. Now this is the central Haversian canal. Now enclosing or surrounding this central Haversian canal are the concentric lamellae. Now concentric lamellae is actually the bony matrix which is arranged or oriented in a lamellae, layer like structure, parallel layer like structure. Now these are the concentric lamellae. Now you can also see this kind of layer which is at this covering this circumferential, so it is called the circumferential lamellae. As it is on the outer side, it is called outer circumferential lamellae. And this outer membrane, you can see this outer membrane. Now this is the periosteum membrane. Now to give you the better picture, this is the another diagram I have drawn. Now we were talking about the periosteum. Now peri means around, osteum means bone. So around the bone there is a sheath, fibrous sheath like layer, membrane, which is called periosteum. Now the periosteum consists of two layers. The outer one is the fibrous layer, the outer one is the fibrous layer, and the inner cellular layer. Now this cellular layer consists of the osteogenic cells and osteoblast cell. Okay. Now some of the things which I was unable to mention is there's the spongy bone. Now you can see this, the inner bone, the spongy bone. Now this spongy bone unit called trabeculae. Now they are projecting into the marrow cavity as a 3D lattice work structures. Now these are called the trabeculae. And some of the things like the perforating, transverse perforating canal, the Boxman's canals. Now these are the canals, transverse canals, which connects the neighboring osteons and also the osteon with the medullary cavity. So the transverse perforating canals are the ones which connects the neighboring osteons, the adjacent osteons, and also osteon with the medullary cavity. So that's it. This was the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video.